genre.
Welcome back to The Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who, The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one doctor at a time. I'm Nick Jimenez.
I'm Scott Corelli.
And I'm Cassandra Fredrickson.
Today on the show, we're discussing The Chimes of Midnight, the 8th Doctor's 7th story. And this is an audio adventure.
Yes, it is, as all 8th Doctor stories are, until we get to the very, very last 8th Doctor story, like 20 years from now.
Go, send it. He dies.
So The Chimes of Midnight, which is directed by Barnaby Edwards, who is, I believe, one of the sort of founders of Big Finish. He's like, or at least he was in the group of the early days of Big Finish that directed a lot of episodes early on. He is also a Dalek operator. And he did Dalek operating from the first Dalek episode of New Who, Dalek, all the way to The Witch's Familiar was the last time that he played a Dalek. So he's been a Dalek operator for a long time, and he directed this story, which was written by Robert Shearman, who we all know, of course, from Dalek, the first Dalek episode, which he also wrote. Which in and of itself is a adaptation of his story Jubilee, which we will, I'm sure, get to sometime down the road. But Robert Shearman he hasn't written a lot for Doctor Who, but everything that he's written is a banger, because he's a really great writer. And this story, The Chimes of Midnight, may very well be his best. I think The Chimes of Midnight, I was like looking back at like what we had covered this season. I was like, yeah, I think The Chimes of Midnight is the best one so far anyway. And that we've covered this season, and it's definitely the best 8th Doctor story we've covered, and probably will be for some time. Light them while you got them, boys. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they've either been like unbearable, which I don't think. I mean, hopefully, or they've been like really, really fun. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. This has definitely been the highlight of the season so far for me. I thought this was terrific.
Yeah, no, this episode. I mean, this is like, if I had to make a list of, like, I don't know, 3 stories or something to say, like, to sell someone on Big Finish, this would absolutely be on that list. In fact, if I only had to pick one, it still might be this one. It's really just that good. And Cassandra found out that this is actually on Spotify. So if you have a Spotify account, you can just go listen to this. It's on their Big Finish has like all of the, not all of, but like the older Doctor Who Big Finish stuff on there. And this story is in the monthly range. You might get tricked and you'll see the 8th Doctor Adventures. Well, it's not in there because that's like,
that's
actually
the spin-off of the main thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when they decided they were going to change the 8th Doctor. They were going to transition the 8th Doctor from 4-part serials to 45-minute like New Who style stories. So it's a different thing. It comes after this. So yeah, I mean, just search for Chimes of Midnight and it should come up.
Yeah, that's how I found it.
Yeah, so perfect. So you guys can actually listen along to this, and if you haven't heard this, I recommend literally pausing this podcast, go listen to the Chimes of Midnight if you have Spotify available to you, and then come back and hear us gush about how good this story is.
The Chimes of Midnight, written by Robert Sherman, directed by Barnaby Edwards, produced by Big Finish Productions, air date February 2002. It's Christmas Eve in 1906, and all the servants in a large English manor are making preparations. Edith, a scullery maid, is repeatedly bullied by the other members of the household: Mrs. Badley, the cook, Mr. Shaughnessy, the butler, Mary, the lady's maid, and Frederick, the chauffeur. Meanwhile, the TARDIS lands in complete darkness, and the Doctor sends Charlie out to investigate while he looks for a flashlight. Eventually, they discover they are in the larder of an Edwardian house. But as they explore the kitchens, they find the area completely deserted, though the dishwater is still hot and the plum pudding is freshly cooked. Time appears to be frozen, but Charlie can hear Edith singing, and she hears a terrible scream as the clock strikes the hour. Time unfreezes, and the Doctor and Charlie are now able to interact with the servants, and just in time, too. There's been a murder. Edith is found standing up with her head in the sink, having drowned. The Doctor and Charlie question the servants one by one, and they're given the runaround, each of them acting peculiarly and saying strange things. When the clock strikes 11, though it's much too soon for an hour to have passed already, Mrs. Badley is also found murdered, smothered by her own plum pudding. Now, none of the servants remember that Edith ever existed, though Charlie can still hear her voice, warning her. Edward Grove is alive, and there will be another murder at midnight. But the victims don't stay dead. Everything resets at the Chimes of Midnight, and Edith is murdered again, suffocated by a plunger, followed by Frederick, who's been run over indoors by the Lord and Lady's fancy car. When the Doctor tries to leave or go upstairs, the servants all try to kill him, and the more time Charlie spends here, the more she starts to fit right into the household. Time continues to warp, slowing down and speeding up, and the Doctor decides to leave, so they head back to the TARDIS. But when they do so, they only find another scullery waiting for them inside, an infinite feedback loop. The Doctor realizes they're trapped, and who has been toying with them. Edward Grove is the house, and the house is alive. The Doctor gets the house to talk to him through Mr. Shaughnessy, but Charlie is stuck in the frozen time they first landed in with Edith's ghost, who is begging Charlie to remember her, and she finally does. Edith was the cook in Charlie's childhood home, and all of the events that had been happening here were taken from Edith's life. When Charlie's diary was found in the wreckage of the R-101 airship, Edith felt she had nothing to live for since Charlie was the only person who was ever kind to her, and so she killed herself. But the paradox of Charlie being both alive and dead gave rise to the malevolent energy that has been feeding on the time loop death inside the house. So now she must choose to free Edith, staying with the Doctor, or dying in the airship crash, which she can now also remember vividly. The Doctor outwits the house and manages to get to Charlie in time, and she chooses to live, destroying the house's consciousness and freeing all the victims. The Doctor and Charlie land in 1906 proper, and speak with young Edith in order to give her life a little more hope before leaving again on their next adventure.
Because it's funny, we usually use like the TARDIS wiki as like a reference, kind of like check back in, especially if the episode was a little dry, which this definitely wasn't. But there actually is no plot section in the TARDIS wiki. Theoretically, I could go into the TARDIS wiki. and right, just add to that. I don't know. That just struck me as interesting. But so we open and
I have the power.
I bet I sounded like Encino Man. Like I could go in to the internet and affect it and make change on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we open on like a real upstairs downstairs situation where this
funny you should say that girl named, because the character of what is her name? Let me find it. Edith? Hold on. Mrs. Badley.
Miss Badley.
Yeah, Miss Badley. She is actually named after the actress who plays Mrs. Bridges on Upstairs Downstairs.
Oh, that's fine. she of the plum pudding thing.
Yes, indeed.
Miss Badley.
Indeed, my puppet.
Yeah, so there's this scullery maid named Edith, and she's doing scullery maid stuff, and just everyone is just one by one entering and just dunking on her.
Yeah, you stupid idiot.
You idiot, you're nothing. Say it. I'm nothing, you're nothing.
You're nothing,
just
and
like
no one.
And no one. I was so convinced. I was like, well, she has to be like a princess or something that they have like hypnotized her. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was that heavy.
Yeah.
And then, the doctor and Charlie arrive.
It's Christmas, by the way. This is like...
It is.
It's like getting an 8th Doctor Christmas special.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like, Edwardian.
And honestly, like, if I put this up against all the other Doctor Who Christmas specials that exist, this might be, like, top 3.
Like, for sure.
It's, like, very Christmassy, but also, like, an incredible Doctor Who story.
Yeah, we listened to this it's the perfect time to listen to this, because, like, Halloween just ended. Yeah. Christmas is coming,
I listened to this yesterday, and I saw someone talking about Halloween, and I was just like, shut up. It's over. I was like,
get over it.
I was so done with Halloween after listening to this. And I love Halloween. I do. But in that moment, after listening to this, I was like, no, it's Christmas's time now.
Were we talking about this guy IRL where, like, we rev up so early, like, by September 29th, we're like, no, like, bring it on.
Yeah.
But, like, by Devil's Night, we're like, God, I'm kind of done. Like, what else do I have to do? Like, go to a party?
Right. It's true. You're right.
But yeah, so this is great because, like, it understands that there can be something spooky about Christmas, like all the best Christmas specials and stories.
It absolutely has like a Christmas Carol vibe.
Oh, yeah.
To it.
Definitely. There's ghosts wailing about their unjust murders.
And I mean the actual Christmas Carol, not the Doctor Who episode of Christmas Carol. Though that's great too, but it doesn't necessarily have the same vibes as that.
What's the Christmas Carol that Edith sings? I can't remember the words
to.
The
Herald Angels sing.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Stop that, you idiot. Stop humming.
I'm sorry. I'm nothing and no one.
Scullery maids can't date valet drivers. So,
man.
They arrive and they deduce that they're in Edwardian times, and it's charming. I just really like Charlotte and the Doctor. They have a cool kind of unfussed chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And they meet Edith, and they're like, "Oh, hi, Edith." And then I believe part 1 ends with her getting drowned in the sink, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And their theory is that she's so stupid that she didn't know that she couldn't drown. They just hate this woman.
It's like, oh. Yeah, there's a part where the person, I guess, like right above Edith on the chain, Mary, is like, I don't want to go in there. That's where Edith's dead body is. You wouldn't, if I was dead, you would make, like, it was great. And it really pointed to the really terrific sense of humor that Robert Sherman had in this episode. Yeah. Like, this had some real laugh out loud moments for me.
Oh, yeah.
With just like the satire, I guess, of like the upstairs, downstairs hierarchy.
Yeah. No, it's really good. And just in general, I just think the weird, like, who's on first sort of like humor or dialogue, wordplay that was happening, where it's just like it was just them all talking in circles, and the Doctor just being like, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. I need to someone talk to me.
Oh my God, I hate everyone in this room.
Please, someone talk to me like a human being. What's happening? Oh, it was so good. Yeah. God, I love Paul McGann so much. He's so good in this.
Oh, he's great in this, for sure. And so we get the sense, the episode kind of morphs into this Agatha Christie, and they even reference Agatha Christie out loud in this episode, murder mystery, where they're like aware that there is a pecking order. It's kind of almost like Cabin in the Woodsy, where like people are like, "Oh, have I died yet? Like, has it happened yet?" And then like, "Oh no, I was early," or like, "I got my timing wrong," or like Edith's ghost visits Charlie, and it was like, please, I can't. I don't want to die again. This sucks.
Yeah. And it's also like it's because it's like the whole place is like a time loop thing. Mm-hmm. So like people die.
It's in the time slip.
People die in a certain order at the chime of midnight or other hours, I guess, on the chime of the hour.
Yeah.
And I think midnight is when it resets, right? Back to like
it resets at midnight. It starts at like 10. So there's like 2 murders, and then something happens at midnight, and then it just happens all over again.
Right. Yeah.
It's like in Pacific Rim where they have to like set the clock back.
Right. Yeah.
Until they don't, because Idris Elba sacrificed everything.
Yeah. Well, somebody had to
be a hero.
Somebody had to.
Hey, Travis, you heard me talking about Idris.
He had a son to survive. Not talk about ever, but also survive. So that he could be in a terrible sequel.
I really enjoyed all of the I don't know, like I'm looking at the cast now at the wiki. It has like a super small cast, but I remember all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good, and I mean, things start getting. I mean, things were always weird, but the doctor was just sort of like, once he realized that they were coming back, he just started kind of having fun with it for a little while. Where he's just like, oh, all right, so there's lower stakes than I thought. Okay. And he's just like trying to figure it out. And then at a certain point, he gets so fed up that he's like, Charlie, do you just want to bail? You want to just like get back in the TARDIS and like leave? Because this sucks.
Look, you're not having a good time.
Charlie's like, can we do that? And the doctor's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. They're not actually dying. No one's in danger.
Charlie,
it's fine.
Charlie. We can always just bail. Don't ever think we can... that you can't just like tap out. We have a time machine.
Here's the thing. Anytime I ever tell you that we can't bail, it's just because I don't want to. We can always bail.
But the twist is that they can't bail.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was freaky. That was almost when I was like, I don't know if this could be an episode when they do bail and then the TARDIS, like they run into the TARDIS and then it is still like the basement or like the cliffhanger is the doctor's like, oh no, we brought the haunted house with us. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's trippy.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. Yeah. So then we sort of like find out like what the deal is. Which was really interesting because there was like a couple of bits where Charlie would be talking to Mrs. Bradley and Mrs. Bradley would be like talking to her like she knows her, and then Charlie would like eat the plum pudding and then would like revert into a child. Mm-hmm. And then would snap out of it and would be like, what did you do to me? I need to get out of here. And Mrs. Badley would say like weird stuff like, you were my only friend. Yeah.
So creepy.
And it's so much more creepy when you find out that like Mrs. Badley was like this cook, or I guess she was a chambermaid first, or scullery. What was she? When to Charlie, what was she? Because she's a cook here, but
yeah, because the Edith character, the Doctor and Charlie land in like the early 1900s, and Charlie's from like the 1930s. So like teenage scullery maid idiot Edith was the scullery maid in like 1908 or 1906 or whatever, and then she was the cook for the house that Charlie grew up in.
Like she was like, you're 19 now, and like I was 19 when we met, when I came into your life.
Yes.
So like the idea was that like Edith and Badley were like they're like the same person, right? From like different times or something.
I think like the. Like all of Edith's experiences are being like shoved into these other characters. So like, because she's the cook, like she treats Charlie as she treated Charlie when Charlie was a baby.
It's like a projection of what the trauma she experienced while she was alive.
Yeah.
Right. But then, like, Edith, the way everyone treats Edith is the way that they treated her when she was younger, before she became a cook.
She's like, oh, Charlie, you were the only one that was ever nice to me, and like that's why I'm haunting you now.
Right, because she had an affair with the driver, and then the driver just like pretended it never happened because
men are awful.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because being a driver is so much better than being a scullery or whatever. Like, come on, dude, you're not that far above her. Jeez.
I don't know, man. Have you seen Downton Abbey? Like, people get all up in that stuff.
I know they do, but they do, but that sucks. It's stupid. Yeah. No, I mean, dude just wanted to get laid.
I don't know, Mr. Branson.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like he seduces her in the car.
Right.
And then she's like, cool, we're in a relationship now. And he's like, we're in a what?
How dare
message
you?
Read.
How did message read? Oh, no.
Some kind of like almost Hanna-Barbera level murders in this. They really take advantage of the audio format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, Mrs. Beadley gets literally stuffed with her own pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
The driver they talk about how the driver has like tire marks on him. Like he is like a cartoon character.
Yeah, he gets run over by his own car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the irony.
Oh God! And there's a part where Mary's like, "Oh, to be killed by his own Cadillac or the Chevy or whatever car it was."
Yeah, it's so good. So, but then like the other foot drops and we learn more about Edith and her relationship to Charlie when she was young, and then basically Charlie was the only person that she was living for in her like miserable existence as this woman who worked in this house. Mm-hmm. And so when Charlie quote unquote died in the accident that the doctor saved her from, and then she became a companion, but she was never found. So she's presumed dead. And because of that, Edith kills herself. Which sucks.
Yeah.
And now she's like haunting Charlie. Basically, because it's like she's both dead and not dead, and so like it's this whole crazy Christmassy, Christmas carol-y, timey-wimey thing, and it's cool and pretty goth and dope.
I like that because there's this whole mystery of like this dude that they presume that's his name's like Edward Grove, and they're like, what the heck does that mean? And then the paradox of Charlie and Edith, or just Edith, like being alive and dead at the same time, like makes this time loop that like makes the house sentient, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
It's like it's experiencing the trauma of the murders so often that it's starting to become, it's like feeding off of it, and it's becoming more sentient, and like the Avatar people become less and less like. They become more like, oh yeah, like we're in a loop. Like this, we're like the pretenses start to fall.
Because the idea is that like, because the doctor is a time traveler, Charlie both died and didn't die in that accident because like history existed as it was, and the doctor like still changes things, so like he doesn't step into history like as it always was. It doesn't like follow those rules where it was like, oh, it was always destined to have a time traveler at this moment. Like that's not how it works. So she did die in that accident because the doctor wasn't there to save her, but then he did save her, so she remembers dying and also being saved simultaneously, and that's what creates the time loop. It's real, like, trippy, cool Doctor Who time travel shenanigans. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. And it sounds complicated and potentially convoluted, but I think the writing is, I don't know. Yeah, he has such a firm hand of the story that he's telling, Robert Sherman. And so by the end, when it's all like stacked on top of one another, you feel like invigorated rather than like overwhelmed.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Jeez, this is crazy.
Something else I just learned. Apparently, if you go to the TARDIS wiki page for the Chimes of Midnight, there's actually a little player that has the entire story on it.
Oh, sick.
So even if you don't have Spotify, you can listen to it that way. I think it is just a link to the Spotify though, but I still think you could probably listen to it maybe with ads or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I thought Edward Grove is a really cool villain. I don't know. I really like, and at the end when he was like the kind of the thesis of the episode, which is like people downstairs don't matter. Like only the people up above like are worth anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird though cuz I don't see a cast listing for him. Was he just Mr. Shaughnessy?
Yeah,
was it
the
same actor?
The butler guy, but like his voice like sounds completely different.
Yeah.
Speaking against the house.
Yeah.
I thought it was David Twillis at first.
Yeah.
However you say his name.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want this story was released as a special like one-shot vinyl record.
Ooh.
And man, could you imagine like just popping that on like Christmas Eve,
oh
like
my
Christmas
God,
Eve night?
Spooky.
Yeah. God, it's so good. Anyway, I'm sad that I missed out on that cuz also the cover looks awesome.
Nice.
It's a really cool
how metal would that be if they just dropped like an audio story on vinyl and it was like haunted, or you know what I mean? Like it had like cool art and stuff on it.
That's what I'm telling you.
No, but now in 2019, or going forward.
Oh yeah, well I mean they did. This just came out recently.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like in the 80s or in 2002 they dropped that. Never mind.
Oh no. This was like when was this?
Was it like an anniversary one?
Yeah, 2016.
Oh wow.
Is when they released it. So not that long ago. Anyway, this is so good. I can't even. I can't even.
One thing that
so
I really appreciate from like a technical writing standpoint is that like it handles the audio drama medium so well. Like it's there's very few instances of people describing things happening to them when it doesn't feel organic or like for them to have a reason to do that, if that makes sense. Which is like my big pet peeve about some of these where like the doctor's just like, oh, the hands are grabbing me. Oh, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
no, Robert Sherman's really good.
Yeah, it does a good job of that, and because like you either get one of two ways a lot of times with vinyl is like either people saying things out loud to describe what's happening because they need you to know what's happening, or you get the opposite of that where things are so. They're like, oh, let's take advantage of the audio format and do things you could never do in live action. And then they do like these weird ethereal stories where you're like, I don't even have anything to hold on to. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, look, we're in a void. The whole episode takes place in a void. And I was like, what? I don't know what's happening. Like, I can't. Where are you?
Imagine a void,
okay,
kids.
Great. Imagine a void. Is it a white void, a black void? It doesn't matter. It's a void. Oh man, come on. Yeah, this is like the perfect like middle ground for that. It's really good.
There was a great moment where the doctor thinks he has to like kill himself to break the loop, and so he like orders the butler to choke him, and he's like, I like stop killing the doctor. It's like I can't refuse a direct order from a gentleman.
It's so good. I love that. Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, I did just look up the vinyl, and it is $115. So, yeah.
Merry Christmas to you.
As much as I would like that, I think I'd rather spend that money on something else.
Yeah.
Electricity.
Yeah. Electricity, a Nintendo Switch. I don't know. A third of a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's only a third. Like a Joy-Con.
Yeah. 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 Anyway,
Kind of Luigi's Mansion of Doctor Who audio adventures.
Yeah, it was. It really is. I just think that this story is really fantastic, and I think everyone should listen to it. It'll definitely get you in the Christmas spirit. Weirdly, with all the murder. Yes, that kind of spirit as well. Mm-hmm. It's really good, and it's probably the best Eighth Doctor story we're going to talk about for probably quite a while. Not to say that like any of them are bad, but or I guess that one was pretty bad. But not to say that any of the ones coming up are like really just dreadful, but none of them quite hit the mark as hard as this one does. Mm-hmm. So this one is just very, very good. And then also we're only 4 seasons away from getting to the 6th Doctor audios, which are also very good. So we'll be covering 2 audios a season pretty soon, and then right after that 3, because the 7th Doctor will be over too.
That's sad.
It is sad. Not as sad as when we finish the 9th Doctor and have nothing to do.
Ooh, yeah.
His is just retired. He just has a retired spot.
And then we just watch The Leftovers.
Yeah. 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 Either The Leftovers, or we could do the War Doctor Big Finish audios if we wanted to dabble in that at all. I don't know.
Have we ever thought about reading the comics? I know there's 9 comics, right?
Not a lot, actually.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No, not even that.
No, I think he's only had like he's been a part of like multi-Doctor stories in comics, and then he's had he had like 1 miniseries, and that was it.
What?
I think. Yeah, he's never had it on. Yeah, because like most New Who fans, they don't like 9th Doctor very much.
Why?
I don't know. They just don't. They like the hot ones. They like the hot ones.
I like the hot ones too, but like 9 is the best.
They like 10, 11, and 13. Those are the ones that everybody likes. 9 and 12 are like, ew, they're old. You get a lot of that.
Do you guys hear a lot of people out in the real world that are excited about 13 or that watched the new season?
Not a lot, no.
Yeah, me neither. I'm always preaching the gospel.
Most people fell off during 12 because he was so old and grumpy, and they were like, ew.
Well, I know a lot of people that stopped like before 11 regenerated, like when I stopped the first time, because I'm just like, boo.
Yeah, yeah. There were like some diehards that really liked Matt Smith, and then when he regenerated, they were like, all right, I'm out. I'm done. No more.
Yeah, perfect time to drop off.
Mm-hmm. I'm a 1 Doctor person. You get that a lot.
I'm a doctormist.
That's weird. Yeah. Like that's like the antithesis of the show.
I know. It's so antithetical to the show.
What the heck?
But they're not. It's a thing. Like I don't want to make this. I don't want this to sound gatekeeper-y at all. But like they're not actual Doctor Who fans. They just liked him. I mean,
that's fair. Like, and so,
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like it's not the same thing. It's just
I don't know. It'd be like I don't know if you knew someone who stopped watching like the Mavericks in like 1998. Yeah, it was like I'm done. That was or like SNL, where it's like no. After Sudeikis left, I was done. I never watched another second.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? It's just like it's just like SNL, where it's like people like they have the cast that they liked.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's when SNL was at the best. And it was like, I mean, in retrospect, it may seem that way, but if you actually went back and watched the full episodes from that era, you would not think that they were as good as you remember them. Because that's always the thing. It's like, there's like, if there are 2 sketches in an episode of SNL that are like, wow, those were good, that's a fantastic episode.
It's really true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like most of them are just like you're just watching and then the sketch ends and you're like, huh, like that's
and then
that's most of your reaction.
Yeah,
or you're watching the bit unfold and you're like, really, this is what you went with, huh?
Like,
okay,
oh boy,
yeah, wow, all right.
Yeah. And then you have like suckers like me that are always gonna like turn to whoever they're watching it with. And that wasn't so bad. That was a good one.
Yeah,
had some fun stuff in it.
Yeah, that's SNL and Doctor Who have a lot in common, honestly.
Sure.
Anyway, and then like the cast. See, the cast are like the companions, and then the showrunners are like the doctor. It's like sometimes the doctor changes, but the companions like
stay
hang around.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, stay the same.
That's great.
Kate McKinnon has like worked her way through like 3 showrunners, I think, at this point.
And right now we're in like the Colin Jost, Michael Shea kind of era, where it's like I love this cast. I don't love the writing though.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have Julio Torres as the really talented. Shout out to him. Anyway, the Chimes of Midnight. If you still haven't listened to this,
superb.
After
all of this,
do it.
Oh
Put
my
the kettle on, get some tea going.
I might listen to this again around Christmas time. It's so good.
Get some Jammy Dodgers out.
Man. Jammy Dodgers.
The Doctor wears a paper crown.
He does.
He does. Oh man, that was one of my favorite bits where he's like, "Hey, let's pull this cracker," and she's like, "I don't think it's our cracker to pull, Doctor." He's like, "It'll go back. It's fine. It's all gonna reset anyway." So then they pull the cracker, and he's like, "Oh, a crown." And she's like, "Well, what are we gonna do that?" He's like, "Well, I can wear it for one."
Hello. It's Christmas,
It's so
Charlie.
Good. Oh, I love that. I love how much the Doctor loves Christmas.
And he said something very, I feel the same way, where at the end, he's like, the anticipation of it is more fun than the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. For sure. Yeah. So anyway, good stuff.
Yeah, it feels good to finally be like gushing about an episode this season.
Yeah.
I know. Whew. That was, yeah. It's been difficult. There was I do want to mention that there was a tweet, I guess, from the Doctor Who BBC thing about watch this space for some sort of announcement, and that was like a week ago, and there's been no announcement. So,
there was the book, right? Was that not
there was the book, but it wasn't that, because the main Doctor Who Twitter account didn't announce the book. So it wasn't the book. They haven't tweeted anything since saying,
"Oh, weird.
Watch this space."
I didn't know
so
that.
it was not the book. The book being a book written by the actress who played Ace, and it's a book about 13 meeting Ace. Yeah, Sophie Aldred.
Is that fan? I don't know. I love.
Is that like self-insert fan fiction at that point?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
good on Sophie Aldred. Yeah.
Right.
She probably was like, "I think Ace should meet the Doctor," and they're like, "Cool, we don't, but if you want to write that story yourself, by all means."
It's exactly what Ace would do.
I really don't like how the BBC doesn't want to mix like eras of Doctor Who. Like I don't like that. I don't know why they do that.
That's yeah.
And I also just feel like in general, like 13's numbers weren't the best as far as viewing numbers, you know? And it's like, why wouldn't you like do something that feels like oh yeah, we should probably watch this. Like,
and and
Ace
not to
meeting the Doctor is a good thing.
Definitely, and I think one of the grievances that I think we all had with last season was it felt kind of disconnected from the show or the mythology
very much so.
In a way.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. So. Yeah, because I don't think I've rewatched any of those episodes.
No.
Yeah.
Is that coming back next year?
I think so. I assume that I'm assuming that the announcement is the Christmas special.
Yeah. And then
I would assume, and then maybe we'll get the new season like in like February or March, hopefully. Because they finished shooting it like 3 or 4 months ago. So it's done.
Yeah.
So a new decade of Who.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a full 10 episodes or not.
I hope so.
Gosh, I hope so. Jeez.
He's like, oh, it's 6. Like, ugh, whatever.
It's only 6 this time. I suck.
Why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? I should quit. I won't. See you in 2023.
I don't know. There was I listened to the David Tennant does a podcast with Jodie Whittaker, and she had really cool things to say about Chibnall's vision for the show, or like the care that he's taking. It seems like he's more of a fan than I don't know. I remember it encouraged me. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't think that. I didn't know that.
That's cool, I guess. I just don't like. I mean, we're going to talk about him in a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't like his style for Doctor Who. I don't. Whatever it is that he likes about Doctor Who, I don't think I like what he likes.
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, like
that is what it is.
Yeah. Kind of
if I can if I can watch the Eric Sayward episodes, I can get through his.
It's more of a clinical.
It is, yeah, for sure, absolutely.
But this was great.
But this was great. Everybody, check it out. We're sort of waffling because we know this is a short episode. Yeah. But
well, that's the thing about like a really good one, because it's just like there's only so many times you can say, "Oh, it's super good." Like,
yeah, right, absolutely. But yeah, okay. So next time, we will be back to talk about Father's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say, even at kind of a "What's a Wonderful Life" message at the end, where it's like, no, don't like choose life, like don't give up. And I was kind of especially Christmassy.
Oh yeah, very much so. It's really good. But yeah, so next time we'll be back to talk about Father's Day, which is another all timer, I would say.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, it's good. It's good. But I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah. No, I know. It's okay. If I could give you a hug, I would.
Thanks.
And I will on the 26th of December. Yay. Anyway. Yeah, we're actually really hoping that there's a Christmas special, because if there is, we'll get to like record it all together in one place.
Yeah, for like the first time ever.
Yeah, which will be pretty dope. Anyway, so Father's Day next. Then we got the Idiot's Lantern behind that.
Oh.
And then we've got Hungry Earth, Cold Blood after that.
Which is, fine.
I guess.
It's better than
and then Deep Breath, which I'm pumped to revisit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Because we're gonna start covering 12 again.
Well, you know me. I'm always a little bit more. I always like getting back into my comfort zone of New Who.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so so that's what's coming down the pipe, and that'll be season 7, and I think we'll be finishing just in time for the Christmas special, theoretically. So, theoretically, as in I don't know if there is one.
We don't know if there is yet.
Yeah, because it has not been announced yet. But I'm hoping it's a Christmas special, because I think the New Year's special was a fun diversion, a fun experiment. But like, let's get back to tradition.
That's what the new Pope said.
I'm still mad that it's not called Resolution of the Daleks. Like, come on, guys, what are you doing?
And it's indicative of kind of the weaknesses of that season in general. Of kind of like, come on, it's right there. Like, it's a cool thing. Go for it.
Yeah. Stop not being fun. Why are you allergic to fun? Stop it. It's probably my fault. He probably listened to the episode about dinosaurs on a spaceship, and he's like, I guess they don't like it when I'm fun.
I guess I also need to take blame for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have gotten on board with me. Phil hunting a dinosaur.
Chibnall, I really love Broadchurch. I don't want you to bring that energy to Doctor Who. So
she's the most fun Doctor we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's just, maybe put her in more fun stories. Let's see what that's like.
Give her a murder mystery. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it would be cool if they did like a little okay, so Chibnall can't do a whole season of the show like every year, like he said that because he's slow.
But he's not writing all of them, right?
No, he's not. But he literally he can't write his like 2 or 3 episodes a season and also produce a whole season within a year. Like, he can't do it.
Yeah.
So my thought is that what they should do is, so they do this new season, and then just do like a little mini season where you get like just go through like the history of Doctor Who, like of New Who, and get like Russell T Davies to write an episode, Stephen Moffat to write an episode, Neil Gaiman to write an episode, and then Chibnall write an episode. Just do like a 4-episode series of like all of those guys write one.
Oh man.
And just like, let's see what that would look like, and give them all totally different vibes. Like make them each feel like those eras, you know?
Yeah.
Not to say Neil Gaiman had an era, but you know what I mean. I think that would be cool. Especially now that Neil Gaiman's a showrunner.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Each one show runs their one episode, like produces their one episode. That'd be cool.
Why not? Shake it up.
Yeah. I don't know. But then I think crazy stuff like that. Like I think that James Bond should just be one-offs now. Like I don't think they should ever have like an ongoing James Bond again. They should just do one-off James Bond adventures where it's just like a new Bond every single time.
Ooh.
That would be dope. Yeah. Right? See?
Yeah, that's cool.
Like they're doing with the Joker.
Exciting. Yeah. Yeah, right. Just like the Joker. Anyway. All right.
Murray.
Okay, guys. We'll be back. We'll be back next time with Father's Day.